Yo, what's up, everyone? It's Nick Can't Mine here, back with another episode of Meet the Taco Plebs. Around Twitter, I saw this new guy come on and follow me, and he started tweeting some fire memes constantly. Like today, Jack Dorsey had a reply to one of his tweets where someone said, "Make altcoins great again." And he said, and Jack replied, "Nah," just a simple nah. And next thing I know, my feed is blowing up with all these great Jack Dorsey memes, like rapid fire memes, one after another. And I love this dude's memes. They're great. And I knew I had to get him on the show to, just have everyone get to know him better and have you guys follow him as well so you get to see his memes. So his name's Greg, and I'm really happy to have him on the show. So, Greg, what's up? How's it going?
Hey, man. I appreciate the intro. It's going well. I finally got my kids to bed, so have a little free time. And I'm actually really glad you said you pronounced your Twitter handle, because I wasn't sure if it was Nick Antmine or Nick Can't Mine.
Yeah, it's Nick Can't Mine.
Yeah,
but
I get it.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm curious to know, how did you find Bitcoin? What's your rabbit hole story?
Rabbit hole story. It's tragic, really. I found the Bitcoin white paper in 2011, and I was enamored with it. And I tried to set up my laptop to do some mining at that point in time. I can't remember if it did any or not. I just remember it was a pain in the ass trying to get the node to sync. And then I just kind of got distracted with life. And in, I want to say late 2013, whenever Coinbase first went active, I bought some. And it was cool to have. I liked the idea that it was money with a hard cap that nobody could fuck with, and it was internet native, and it was just cool. Let's see. I ended up selling everything I had, like right before the bull run, and we were just moving into a new house, so wiped myself out and hated myself for it. And after that bull run, I just started stacking a little more and a little more and a little more, and then there was this whole block size debate, which I wasn't paying enough attention to really understand, other than I thought, okay, Bitcoin doesn't have its shit together. Get out of this, see what's going on elsewhere. Ethereum looked interesting, and I got in there, and one of my great sins, honestly, is buying and holding on to Ethereum. I held it through the 2017 bull run and 2018 giant drop, and the whole run up, I was watching and going, oh my God, this thing's actually like taking share out of Bitcoin. And then during the drop, going, oh shit, no, Bitcoin is really still the king. And I'm a big fan of Warren Buffett. I read The Snowball. I read The Intelligent Investor. I was watching a lot of the Investors podcast with Preston Pish, and Pish kept talking about Bitcoin and Bitcoin Twitter, and I didn't know that was a thing. So I hopped on Twitter and took a look at some of the stuff he was posting and other people were posting. I thought, okay, maybe I'll get involved here and see what I can see in this space. And I found out there are these people called maximalists, and they kind of looked like assholes, and I couldn't understand why they were so against Ethereum as a project. And the whole DeFi thing was happening, and they were wrapping Bitcoin, and I was like, oh man, this is a perfect layer 2 solution. And I started tweeting about that, and I found American HODL around the same time I was reading Human Action by Mises, and I was starting to like red pill myself at this point. And he basically called me an idiot and a moron and anything else you can think of that he is likely to say about somebody who was an ETH proponent. And it really kicked me into reading more and more. And the thing that really got me over the hump was Breedlove's Bitcoin and the number zero. Really drove home what an important invention absolute scarcity is with money. And I completely swapped out my ETH stack for Bitcoin within, I want to say, 3 weeks from reading that piece. And I've been just tumbling down the rabbit hole ever since. I can't stop reading. I read Safety's Bitcoin Standard. I read Rothbard, just everything that I could find to get my hands on, the Bitcoin Reformation, even American Hodl's most recent piece. Guy's smart. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Now I can't get enough of Bitcoin in my life. I'm driving my friends and family crazy, and Bitcoin Twitter has been my only outlet.
I think a lot of people relate to that, and Bitcoin being their only outlet. But one of the things I wanted to touch on is I went through a similar situation, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people do, when you're a shitcoiner and you're holding ETH and some of these other coins, and you think, oh my God, it's so revolutionary. Like, this stuff seems genius. And then you go on Twitter, and I remember, like, I was kind of inching my way into the maximalist crowd just because at one point I was still a shitcoiner, but they were talking actual Bitcoin stuff, and like shitcoiners were talking about, oh, try and get a 10,000x on shitcoin, XYZ. And that just didn't really appeal to me. And I remember people would tweet like something about Bitcoin, and I'd say like, yeah, that's good, but I'm still holding some ETH or some Litecoin or, some whatever. And they'd be like, you got to drop the shitcoins. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm not holding any shitcoins. Yeah. Like, you just said you're holding ETH. You're holding a shitcoin. And it kind of made me think like,
it's a losing strategy.
Yeah. And I was like, am I holding a shitcoin? So then one of the things that really got me.
Absolutely.
One of the things that got me down the rabbit hole was someone said you shouldn't be buying altcoins if you don't fully understand Bitcoin. So I was like, that makes sense. Let me try that. And I've never I did that, and I've never turned back, because it's like once you understand Bitcoin, you understand there's no need for any other coin, and all these other coins are shit.
No, once you understand what Bitcoin is, and that it is the innovation, and that it's just going to, Bitcoin Tina put it best. I mean, it is the apex predator of money, and in a freely competing environment, which it basically makes everybody else compete in, it's gonna eat everything.
Oh, I totally agree. I totally agree. And
even the stuff that go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Even the stuff that's accrued store of value properties at this point, real estate, stocks, fine art, precious metals, even. This stuff is all accrued store of value properties only because the money is broken.
100%.
Money tends to one thing, and if you have something that has absolute scarcity that nobody can control the supply of, you now have a real and useful measuring stick for value.
Mm-hmm.
And it blows everything else out of the water.
What you just said with Bitcoin Tina reminds me of something Bitcoin Tina said in one of his podcasts he's done. He talks about how money ought to be the riskless asset. And what he means by that is since the money's broken, we have to store our value in things that are not money, i.e.,
right,
real estate, stocks, precious metals, etc. I mean, you could argue gold and stuff is money, but we'll not get into that. But it's just like
it was.
it was. Not today though. But
It was pretty good, but it failed. It failed.
mhm. And
It got confiscated, centralized, and fractional reserved, and fucking just abused.
mhm. One of the things Tina touches on is that a lot of people don't invest. They don't know how to invest, and they get punished by holding fiat. But if you flip it around and we're on a Bitcoin standard, they wouldn't have to invest as much. Their money would be increasing in purchasing power. So it kind of takes a little bit
Yep.
of the weight off their shoulders for it.
No, I mean, Jeff Booth talks about money being inherently deflationary. And then you finally have a money that complements technology in Bitcoin, which is at the end of its life deflationary because you don't make any more past 21 million. And then at that point, as you have technology exponentially deflating the cost of things around you, your money just becomes worth more and more because all of the value that is accruing to human production goes into the value of all of the Bitcoin throughout the world, divided by 21 million.
I know you touched on earlier today that you love the 21 million part and how no one could fuck with your money. But I want to know, what is the most amazing thing about Bitcoin to you?
Bitcoin's a fundamental discovery. Like I said, the Bitcoin and the number 0 point, it really grabbed a hold of my brain. So, without the invention of the number 0, you don't have algebra, you don't have calculus. Imagine trying to send astronauts to the moon using Roman numerals. You can't fucking do it. You're going to have that kind of explosive growth in productivity across the human race now that you have the equivalent of the number 0 for math in value and in economics. You can do real measurements. What it's going to create is unfathomable. Not only are you going to have exponential deflation through technology, you're going to have exponential productivity growth because now people can really make valid risk assessments and deploy capital in ways that will be productive. It takes a lot of the power out of the hands of the state and puts it back into the hands of the individual, which is where the real power in an economy lies.
I love that answer. I totally agree. I think today we see a lot of people who don't understand that, and they don't understand that they deserve more money.
How could they understand it? We all grow up in this. Central banking is a core tenet of Marxist socialist ideals and philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been forced upon us and fed to us as something necessary for capitalism. And it's just not the truth. So when you grow up with this distorted view of how economies and money are supposed to work, how are you supposed to comprehend Bitcoin unless you tear down everything you know about value and economics and money and start from scratch? It's a painful journey.
Mm-hmm. It's so normalized today that it's kind of like when you tell someone you have to forget everything you know and retrain your brain. They're like, "Oh, you're wrong. Like, there's no way I have to do that. There's no way, everything I've taught has just been a big lie." And I always touch on this on Twitter. I think that governments don't put it in school curriculum at all, really, for public schools, because they don't want you to think differently. They don't want you to know about the dangers of inflation and central banks. And money printing is
absolutely,
just
but I don't think it's the governments. I think it's the banks. The banks are using government as a tool to shape that type of education.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody in government writes their own legislation. They have their lobbyists do it. Who are the lobbyists? They're the bankers.
So
just rubber stamp it and take their couple $100,000 speaking engagement tours. enjoy life in the lap of luxury, flying around on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. It's disgusting.
Uh, so this leads into my next question is since Bitcoin, you have to kind of retrain your brain. I mean, you don't kind of, you do have to retrain your brain and everything you know. It can be kind of hard to pitch Bitcoin to people. And I feel like everyone needs their own specifically catered pitch, depending on where they come from, their age, etc. But what is your best Bitcoin pitch and how do you normally go about it?
How do I red pill somebody?
Correct.
People can't be red pilled unless they're ready for it. And they're not ready for it unless they've experienced some sort of pain, some sort of financial pain, either a failure in business or a failure that was not theirs through economic fuckery by the central banks or giant banks like Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan. I've tried telling people about Austrian economics. I've tried. I don't have a good answer for you. The only thing that's been getting me some traction recently, I've been calling people poor. And that was a suggestion of American Hodls. So I was telling them I was having frustrating times trying to talk to people about it and trying to help them understand. I just want to save my friends and family money, right? I just want them to not be hurt by an insidious problem that they don't understand. And you got to shock people. I mean, you got to tell them they're losing money. You got to tell them they're poor and they don't know it. You got to tell them they're dumb. Yeah, I don't have a good answer for how to red pill somebody. They have to be ready to take that message in through personal experience and pain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I've noticed it's definitely easier to red pill someone who, let's say, is coming from a foreign country who has experienced the effects of money printing. For example, my buddy Nico at Bitvolt,
Yes.
I'm sure you know him.
I know Nico, yeah.
He is from Venezuela, and he knows all about the socialism that happened there, the money printing that happened there, etc. And
they know all about inflation there.
Mm-hmm. And he is obsessed with getting as much Bitcoin as he possibly can, you know, just like you and me. But he really, really gets it because he comes from a place where him and his family and his friends have literally been straight up affected by this. And what we see today in the United States is a lot of people are ignorant to this because they think it'll never happen to them. And they, like, so many times I've tried to tell people, oh, look what happened in Venezuela. Look at what happened in Zimbabwe. And they're like, oh, well, we're not a third world country. And that answer always pisses me off so much.
Right. Yeah. We're not a third world country. It can't happen here. The value of the dollar comes from its military strength. Fuck. Dumb arguments. You're dumb, people. You're dumb and you're poor. You just don't know it yet.
It's funny because it's true. Like, there's so much ignorance today, and like
the best jokes hurt, Nick. The best jokes hurt.
It's pretty sad though. Like, I know, like you just said, you've been trying to get your friends and family in the Bitcoin, and I feel the same way. You know, funny story is my brother.
Dude, I get made fun of.
Oh, same. My brother actually was into Bitcoin before me, and then when the prices fell in 2018, he sold, and he never looked back. He's not been in Bitcoin since, and when he told me about Bitcoin, like he got in like maybe a month before me. I've been hooked since day one. And it's like, there's too many people look at Bitcoin in the United States the wrong way. They don't look at it they look at it as an investment. They don't look at it as what it actually is. You know, a hard money that protects you.
Once that rabbit hole gets you, there's no turning back. And unfortunately, because of the status of the United States and its currency, the citizens in the United States are probably going to be some of the last ones to onboard.
Hmm. Yeah, it's pretty sad. But one of the things is I have yet to meet one person who has gone down the Bitcoin rabbit hole and has come back out. Once you're in there,
Yeah,
you're
there's
in
no
there
coming
for
back.
good. You're in there for good.
Mm-hmm.
But so going down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, it's changed me personally so much. I know it's changed so many other people, and I'm curious to know, how has Bitcoin changed your life?
Yeah, you can't change Bitcoin. It changes you. I have lowered my time preference with just about everything that my life touches now. I'm eating better. I'm exercising better. I'm trying to spend more quality time with my family. I'm reading more and not just, Save would call it fiat books and fiat writing. I'm delving into Marcus Aurelius and Plato and George Washington and entrepreneurs that I find interesting, like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, and diving into the economic books that make sense. Oh my God, Jeff Booth's book is amazing. Safe's book was amazing. Sovereign Individual was, I can't believe they had that kind of foresight. When did they write that book? In the 90s?
I'm not exactly sure.
Rothbard and Mises. And don't get me wrong, Rothbard is a much easier read than Mises. Mises freaking slog, but well worth the time. I don't know. I've been I'm watching less TV, less shitty movies. It touches every aspect of your life. It's just nuts.
Hmm. It's amazing how a magic internet money, some random internet protocol can do that to you. I've had this conversation with so many different people, and it's amazing how finding just a better money can improve your spending habits and your saving habits. It can improve the food you eat. Like, who would have ever thought finding online money would make you, live a healthier life? And it's just amazing that all,
It's
Bitcoin
not
has
just
to teach you.
online money doesn't give enough credit to what this thing is. I think nobody really understands what it is, and I don't think we'll have a complete understanding of what it is in my lifetime. We're still exploring concepts that the number zero has given us as a species. How much time is it going to take us to explore what absolute scarcity means to us as a species? And what kind of new doors will that unlock for us? I'm excited about it. I'm excited about number go up. Hell yeah.
We all are. But
number
yeah,
go up. Number go up is gonna get everybody on board eventually, whether or not I can rent them.
I'm already feeling the FOMO, dude, and
We're not
we're
gonna have a
barely
choice.
halfway. We're like a little over halfway to all time high. We're so early, dude. We are so early in this.
I have been FOMOing so fucking hard since American Huddle called me an idiot. You have no idea. And he was absolutely right. Dude, I even had a .eth on my Twitter handle. I had a .eth on there. I don't know if you can find it, or I hope you can. That shit's embarrassing.
No, dude.
God, I was an idiot.
Don't delete
And
that.
now I make memes. Now I make memes.
Don't delete any past tweets you have. I have all my past tweets up. Some people have tried to call me out for shit when I was a shitcoiner, and I like that it's up there because it shows the growth you have over time.
Heck yeah. Dude, apparently I've had this Twitter account since 2009. I had no idea. And at some point, somebody from like Malaysia hacked it. So when I got back into it after Mr. Pish told me about Bitcoin Twitter, I had to go through and like get off of all of these weird Asian Twitter lists that I had been put on, and I had to go through like all my tweets. It was weird. So if you go far enough back into my Twitter history, I'm speaking some sort of Asian language. I took control of it back not that long ago.
My Twitter account is from like 2014, and I didn't even use it. I don't even know what I used it for before I went to Bitcoin Twitter.
No, I didn't. I had no use for Twitter before Magic Internet Money.
I didn't even understand Twitter at all, really, until I got into Bitcoin. Because I remember people would always be like, dude, you got to get into Twitter. It's so funny. It's so great,
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
And then once I don't even know how I found Bitcoin Twitter now that I'm thinking about it. I think one day I just kind of like looked it up. I'm not even sure, but I'm very thankful I did.
Me
It's
too.
There's no other place literally on the internet that you can have these conversations with
Nope.
so many different Bitcoiners from so many different backgrounds. You learn so much. Speaking of American Hodl, I remember I was talking to him and he was like, dude, spend all day on Bitcoin Twitter and listen to podcasts and you'll get the education of a lifetime.
He's absolutely not wrong. That's how I came up with my rabbit hole reading list. And I was just saying, I need to tweet out this reading list. You want to go down a Bitcoin rabbit hole? Here you go.
If you're interested, you should send me the list. I'll put it in the description of the video. So if any
Oh,
viewers want to read it.
heck yeah. Yeah, all 5 people that tune into me, bro.
You'll get
You get
more.
my
You'll get more than
you'll,
5 people.
you'll get my mom on here. My mom is very active on Twitter and YouTube.
And Bitcoin Twitter?
Not Bitcoin Twitter, but on my feed she pops in every once in a while.
Oh, okay.
Every once in a while she'll pop in and just embarrass the shit out of me. But I love her, so it's okay.
That's nice, dude. My mom tried to follow me on Twitter and I looked up her account and I blocked it.
Oh, that's not cool, man. That's
I
not
don't want anyone from my personal life following me on Twitter. I don't want to like
I get it.
change the way I tweet or anything, you know?
I had to have a long, deep thought session about it. And I figured, yeah, I talk to my mother every morning on my drive into work because I'm
Mhm.
a good boy, right? And she knows what I'm about at this point, so she can see the worst things that I do on Twitter. And the funniest thing was recently do you remember the Stony Bit? Of course you do. Stony Bitson did a meme about scaring Ralph Powell.
Yeah. Yeah.
She I was talking to her in the morning. It was like the day after he posted it, and she goes, "What does this mean? I don't understand. Who's Ralph Powell? Why is he scared? I don't." And she read every panel to me. It took everything I had not to just die laughing at her. She tries. She
I
tries, and that's the important part. She tries, and I love her. I love you, Mom. I know you're watching this.
That's sweet, dude.
Not trying to get in trouble. You don't get in trouble with your mom, man.
So we're hitting the 30-minute mark now, and I want to end off this pod with 2 more questions. What is your price prediction for New Year's 2021 and when we're at the fourth halving?
All right, so New Year's 2021, we should be at like peak FOMO, right?
I would hope so.
All right,
I
so
really
let's
hope
assume
so.
we're at peak FOMO. All right, I really think Plan B's S2FX model is a good weather bell. I think 288,000. Sure, why not put that as the as your fair price for that stock to flow valuation? And FOMO puts you 2x, 3x more than that at your all-time high. So let's call it 800,000. And I don't see us getting 800,000 without touching a million. So let's call it a million. Million in New Year's 2021. Keep it low. And then there's going to be, I don't think it hits escape velocity, this halving. But the next halving, I don't think there's a way to gauge. I don't think I can gauge a high enough price target. I think the next halving, with everything that's happening with QE infinity and fiscal stimulus and hyperinflation around the world, I don't see politicians becoming fiscally responsible in the next 4 or 5 years. I see them doing everything they can to keep their current system going, and that means money printing. And money printing means fleeing to safe haven assets. And when Bitcoin has a stock to flow ratio higher than gold, and real estate's just ridiculously priced because of the Cantillon effect. Let's call it dollar set parity, Nick. Let's call it 100 million. 100 million a coin. You heard it here.
Oh shit. Okay. Okay.
Stack your corn, boys and girls.
So I think
you people who don't get Bitcoin, you're poor and you're stupid and you just don't know it yet. You poor, stupid bastards.
That's awesome, dude. So I think that was the perfect way to end off this interview. Greg, I really want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this with me. I had a really good time talking with you, and hopefully I can get you back on this again.
Anytime, man. This is a blast. Plus, nobody else talks to me, so you're the only one.
Awesome. So if you made it to the end of this video, follow Greg on Twitter. His link will be in the description. He has awesome fire memes. You guys will love it. Bump up his follow count. He deserves it more. So without further ado, I'm a peace out and see you guys next week with a brand new guest.